Welcome back, everyone, to the Real Talk Podcast. I am your host, Liam Crowley, and we are on episode 14, a full, energetic, healthy episode, going off course from last week where we both were kind of down with, it wasn't really the flu, just common cold, but didn't have the energy. We are back. We are excited. Got some news topics to talk about today, and joining me, as always, is Mike Gillis. Mike, what is going on?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here, as always, and we're finishing off our
Star Wars, yeah.
reviews.
It's a big week because this weekend is the release of The Last Jedi. It's been my most anticipated movie for about the past 2 years, not gonna lie, and we are excited to talk about The Force Awakens today because it launched this new franchise, essentially.
It did.
We have a lot of thoughts to talk about there. We obviously have our weekend box office update, as well as some news stories in the world of current movie news. So we're going to start off by jumping right into our weekend box office update. Coming in at number 1 is Coco, making $18.4 million, dropping 33% from last weekend.
Staying strong.
Yep. Number 2, Justice League, making $9.6 million, dropping another 42% from last weekend. Still taking a dive a bit, you know.
It's still number 2, though. So.
Sure. Number 3 is Wonder, making $8.4 million, dropping 30.5%. Coming in at number 4 is The Disaster Artist. Mike is very excited to see that movie. We are coming in with $6.3 million, and its percent increase is astronomical because it had a limited release last week. So this is technically its wide release weekend. So not exactly its opening weekend, but its wide release weekend. And rounding out the top 5, staying in there, is Thor Ragnarok, making $6.2 million, dropping 36% from last weekend. Mike, looking at the top 5, I know exactly what movie you're going to first, but what stands out?
I am so happy that The Disaster Artist has made the top 5.
Absolutely.
Because The Room is such... We know, it's not one of the worst movies ever made. A lot of people say that. It's bad.
It's regarded as the worst movie ever made.
Because bad movies are unwatchable. This movie is very watchable. It's hilarious. And I'm so excited. I'm going to see The Disaster Artist in the coming weeks. And I'm so excited to see it because... It's time that people whose stories aren't heard are finally being told through Hollywood.
For sure.
It's a really good story, too. The book's amazing.
And just to give an update on The Disaster Artist, we will be reviewing it at some point. We cannot, not this weekend because, obviously, The Last Jedi is coming out, but we can try to get it out possibly the weekend after.
Maybe do like a double review with The Room and The Disaster Artist.
I personally, Mike has seen The Room, I have not, so I'd want to watch that beforehand to know what I'm in store for, or just know what I'm in store for in terms of the character of Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Because I know this movie is getting Oscar buzz, isn't it?
It has Golden Globe nominations already.
Right.
And I hope it gets Oscar buzz.
Yes.
I'm sure it already does, but it would be so awesome to see Tommy Wiseau at the Oscars.
Yeah, it would be.
James Franco saying, "Come on up here, guy."
Yeah, it would be very interesting to see, and would be must-watch television for sure.
Yeah.
Just looking at other parts of the top 5, Thor Ragnarok staying in there strong, only making $6 million.
They've been there for a while though. Yeah.
Not a ton for Disney, but you know,
still have Coco.
Yeah, exactly. Probably Thor's last weekend. In the top 5.
Last weekend. Star Wars is probably going to bump it right out.
Yeah, so next weekend is probably when we're going to see the biggest shift. The top 5 has actually been pretty consistent the past few weeks. I think Wonder has switched place maybe with Justice League. I can go back just to see what it was last weekend. Nope, Coco, Justice League, Wonder,
yeah, that makes
Thor.
more sense.
So what happened was Thor got bumped down to 5, and Disaster Artist made the top 5, coming in at number 4, and Daddy's Home 2 is now out of the top 5. So obviously next weekend.
Too bad for the dads.
Too bad for the dads. It had a good run. But it was a
very good run.
Yeah,
for the
pretty
dads.
strong run for Daddy's Home 2. So next week, or this upcoming weekend, my apologies, with the release of what were we talking about?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyways, The Last Jedi coming out is going to floor the box office. I don't know of other movies coming out this upcoming weekend, but Jumanji, that's the next weekend,
yeah,
right?
it's the next weekend.
Okay, because Jumanji's been getting really good reviews, surprisingly.
And
a lot of people
wouldn't be surprised to see that as number 2 with Last Jedi is going to be
Last Jedi is going to be number 1 for 2 weeks in a row. I don't doubt that for a second. But I think Jumanji will surprise a lot of people.
I'm going to say Star Wars, Jumanji.
But let me just clarify when Jumanji comes out.
Star Wars, Jumanji. Probably still Wonder. The boys
Jumanji:
Day.
Welcome to the Jungle comes out the 20th.
20th.
So
Oh,
it does not come out this weekend.
Which is smart.
Right.
Ferdinand comes out the same day as Star Wars.
Oh my god, we forgot about Ferdinand.
The same mistake the Chipmunk sequel made.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Ferdinand, bad idea. Especially, I don't know if this movie was supposed to be any good because I haven't really seen a ton of marketing for it.
It got nominated for Best Animated Picture in the Golden Globes.
Oh, really?
I think any movie can.
John Cena is the voice of Ferdinand, I think. Nothing really special about that movie,
not really.
but The Last Jedi tracking to make over $200 million this weekend will be interesting to see because I don't believe it'll break the record. The record is 236, I believe, set by Force Awakens. But if it makes close to 220, that's not saying there's like a lack of interest compared from the 236 from 2015. The fact that it's still going to make over $200 million shows, like, no pun intended. Well, pun intended, but the Force is still strong in the box office for these types of movies.
And Disney's going to make bank regardless because their movies are always in the top 5.
Always in the top 5. Their marketing is superb. Disney probably has the best marketing out of any studio. Maybe Fox is up there with their Deadpool marketing, but Fox might just be under the Disney umbrella soon enough. We actually don't have any news on that story this week, but we are expecting to get more news about it in the coming weeks. All right, with that being said, any final thoughts on the weekend top 5?
I'm just, again, very happy for the Disaster Artist. It deserves this.
Agreed, and I'm excited to see the freight train known as The Last Jedi coming in this upcoming weekend and seeing how it does overall. All right, our next news topic is there were 2 trailers released in the past week. We just missed the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer. It came out last Thursday, so this is a bit late, but we are still going to review it nonetheless because this is going to be one of the biggest summer blockbusters of next summer. I don't think there's any denying that, as it completely stole the summer of, was it 2015 when Jurassic World came out?
That sounds right.
Yeah, because it was Chris Pratt's next movie after becoming an A-lister with Guardians.
Yeah.
So 2015, Jurassic World comes out. No one is expecting a ton from this movie because Avengers: Age of Ultron comes out this year, and this came out.
Age of Ultron?
Age of Ultron came out in 2015.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm like, that Infinity War.
Yeah, but
the same year. Yeah.
So this came out like a month after. Everyone's big hype was to Avengers. No one really cared about Jurassic World. But turns out people did care because up until The Force Awakens later that year in December, Jurassic World held the weekend box office, opening weekend box office domestic record with over $200 million, beating out the former top holder of the original Avengers from 2012. So even if they only held the title for 6 months up until Force Awakens beat it, Jurassic World had a ton of interest. This movie made a lot of money. Also, a further Star Wars connection in the director of Jurassic World, Colin Trevorrow, was supposed to direct Episode 9 until he got fired because Kathleen Kennedy, I guess, has commitment issues with her Han Solo directors and now with Colin Trevorrow. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. I just have a lot of knowledge based on the box office of back then. This trailer, I'll start off. My original thoughts are underwhelmed. I'm interested in this story. This is a movie, as we've seen with Jurassic World. The plot doesn't necessarily have to make a ton of sense because I think that's kind of what they're going for. The plot, basically, that we got from this trailer, if you haven't seen it, is that the island has been shut down. Isla Nublar, is that what it's called? Yeah. Has been shut down, obviously, after the Indominus Rex incident. And now there is an active volcano on the island, and the government is trying to decide whether dinosaurs are within animal protection and whether they deserve to be protected further, while some believe that this is nature saying, this is time for them to become extinct again. You shouldn't mess with nature. You shouldn't play God, as they say in Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. Sorry, when they're making dinosaurs in the first place. And so, obviously, through the trailer, we see that they do go back to the island, and their goal is to try and save the dinosaurs before the volcano destroys the island completely. When I heard they were making a sequel, I was hoping for a movie a little different. I was hoping for a Jurassic War.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see a World War Z type scope of the world being invaded by dinosaurs. And when I say World War Z, I only mean that because we have like a giant epidemic and they go from location to location. I want to see that with dinosaurs. I want to see them going from China to the United Kingdom to America to all these different places and have like dinosaurs invading and how that works. Actually, on Screen Junkies Movie Fights, they had pitched the sequel, and there was a really good pitch about having them in like Abu Dhabi or the richest city in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And show the distinct the divide between the poverty and the rich in Abu Dhabi. So do like a bit of a social commentary, but also have like a dinosaur park in there and have like, I don't know. It was a really good pitch, and after hearing that, that's kind of what I wanted to hear. So want to see in a movie like this. This one, I don't know. It's the first trailer, so I'm not crazy about it yet, but I'm not going to shut this movie out. A lot of people are saying, oh, here we go again. Another Jurassic World movie going to be mediocre, but I'm optimistic, and I'm excited to see what further trailers bring and what this movie brings as a whole when it's released next summer, I believe, in either May or June.
Yeah, that sounds right. For me, it was kind of a mixed bag. I really enjoyed Jurassic World. I honestly, at first, I didn't think I was, because like the Jurassic Park sequels have always been, just not as good.
Exactly, yeah.
Like Jurassic Park is such an iconic piece of film, and I don't think Jurassic World will be that. It's never going to top Jurassic Park. But this trailer, it looks like a Jurassic Park sequel, not a Jurassic World sequel.
I understand where you're coming from.
It doesn't it feels like there's no stakes. Like when did a volcano appear on this mountain?
It's a very like Deus Ex Machina. We need a conflict. There's a volcano. Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really make much sense because these dinosaurs were man-made, not nature-made.
Yeah.
So why not just get rid of them? I mean, that's like the whole thing about the movie. Maybe that's the plot.
Because obviously Jeff Goldblum's character gets brought back in.
Yes.
Ian Malcolm, I believe is his name.
Yeah, Dr. Malcolm.
And so we'll have to see. Maybe he's one of the ones who pushes like we have to preserve this life force, or I don't know, because in the trailer he does say they were here before us, and if we're not careful, they'll be here after us. So maybe he's saying, I don't know. We don't know his stance.
How we saw in the trailer when the dinosaurs fell in the water, they just went they sank. I don't think they're gonna swim and invade anything.
Yeah,
the flying ones,
or maybe the one the aquatic one.
Yeah, maybe.
I forget the name of it, but maybe that one's like roaming the ocean or something.
When you were talking about, you said maybe like some guy, the terrorist organization takes dinosaur DNA and starts growing dinosaurs in different places. That would be pretty cool.
That would be a very fascinating movie, but obviously that kind of shies away from the blockbuster and more into social commentary, and that's a movie like this. This is going to make $1 billion.
It's going to be the blockbuster film with the blockbuster actors.
Yeah. Just to confirm, it does come out on June 22nd of next year.
I like the title though, Fallen Kingdom.
It's like a soothing. What I call it, soothing? I don't know. It's you can tell that this sequel is going to take. Yeah. I'm not going to call it an Empire Strikes Back, but it's the sequel. It's going to take a darker approach. So we're going to see, even though it was kind of goofy in the trailer at points with Chris Pratt running, I did say he ran kind of weird.
I guess his relationship with Blue is also going to be
a big factor.
Which is cool. I like the Raptors.
Because we do see him with Blue as Blue when Blue was like a baby. So I know it's kind of like silly to think like, oh, but like what would the raptor that you trained think like of you just abandoning them? It does seem kind of silly, but maybe we'll have some like heartfelt moments, like flashbacks.
I think the one thing I hope that this is not is just a repeat of Jurassic World. Because from the trailer, it kind of looks like it. They're like, we're going back to the park, but everything's destroyed. Yeah. They did that in Jurassic World when they found the Jurassic Park.
That's true.
Yeah, they did that already. I don't want a repeat of that. But if they're just going to be like, ooh, dinosaurs, that's fun. It's still going to look cool, but I don't think the plot will be that.
I've a bit of a hot take. I personally, you said earlier,